Haribol to all my brothers and my sisters, and welcome back to Astral Motivation, the house of astropsychology. Today, we're going to be talking about something very important. It is the 7 tips on how to handle Saturn returns or Sadi Satis. So, if you are currently going through your Saturn return or your Sadi Sati, this is the video for you so that you're able to handle this very powerful and challenging aspect and transit in your favor. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Vinodini Dasi. I am a Vedic astrologer, practitioner of the ancient Vedic arts, and spiritual coach. So if you are into ancient knowledge, Vedic astrology, self-development, then make sure to hit the subscribe button so that you never miss any of the nectar. Alrighty, my beautiful brothers and sisters, let's see how it is that we can handle the intense energies of Saturn return and Sadi Sati.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri.
And I just want to take this moment to give a shout out to my beautiful exclusive members here in the exclusive members channel of YouTube. These are the beautiful people, my beautiful lotuses that have been supporting this channel. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to bring you guys so much free content. They also get a very special treat by having a personal Vedic astrological course on learning how to read Vedic astrology. So if you are into wanting to learn Vedic astrology, then definitely become a member today. You can check it out in the description here below how it is that you can become a member today. Alrighty, guys, so let's talk about Saturn return and Sadi Sati so that we can understand these really intense challenges that we all of us have to go through. It's something inevitable that we are all going to experience. And so let's talk about this very, very important topic and how it is that we can have 7 tips in handling this really intense energy. So let's get to it. First and foremost, understanding Saturn's transits of wisdom for challenging times. So facing your Saturn return or Sadi Sati can feel very unsettling. Okay, this journey invites us for deep, deep inner growth, spiritual, mental, psychological, all types of maturity that we can handle. This presentation offers a calm, practical wisdom for moving through Saturn's most challenging transits. Let us explore Saturn's lessons and the 7 essential tips on how to find the steady ground through these very intense times. So first we need to understand, what is Saturn return or Sadi Sati, and are you currently going through this challenging time? So first, let's understand Saturn return. Occurs every 29.5 years when Saturn returns to your birth position, bringing major life transitions, maturity, and self-reflection. So at the ages of 29, usually 28, 29, 30, or 29, 30, 31, this is usually when we get our first Sadi Sati. So if you have this age, 28, 29, 30, or 31, you're going through a Saturn return. There's also a second Saturn return at the age of 60. So the ages of 58, 59, and 60, 59, 60, and 61, this is going to be your second Saturn return. So if you are in these ages, you are definitely going through a Saturn return. And then, of course, there's the last Saturn return at 90 years old. So if you are 89, 90, 91, you are going through your last Saturn return. So if you have those ages, you are currently going through a Saturn return. Now let us understand to the Sadi Sati, which is a little bit different than the Saturn return. The Sadi Sati is a Vedic astrological phase lasting 7.5 years, while Saturn transits through your moon sign and its neighbors, known as a testing of stamina, resilience, and priorities. So to find out if you're in your Sadi Sati, we need to understand what is the moon placement in your natal chart. So let's say once you check out in the description here below, find your Vedic astrological calculator, you maybe find out that you are a moon in Aries. And so right now where I'm making this video in 2025, Saturn just entered Pisces. So this is the sign before Aries, and that means that the Sadi Sati has begun. So it's a 7-year period because it has to transit through Pisces, Aries, which is the peak of your moon sign, and then Taurus. So it goes through your moon sign and the neighbors of the moon sign. If, for example, your moon sign is in Leo, your Sadi Sati will begin when Saturn crosses Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. If your moon sign is in the sign of um, Scorpio, then that means that the Sadi Sati begins when Saturn is crossing through Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. So this is definitely a longer one. So right now, in 2025, when I'm making this video, the ones who are beginning their Sadi Sati are people who have Moon in Aries. The ones who are going to have the peak of Sadi Sati is going to be Moon in Pisces. And the ones who are coming to the end of their Sadi Sati is the moon in Aquarius. Okay, that's an example for 2025. And if you here in 2025 as a Saturn return, if you were born in 95, 96, this is your Saturn return moment. So definitely check it out. If you're having a hard time knowing if you have a Saturn return or Sadi Sati, please let me know in the comments and I can help you with that. Now, we need to respect the sense of time. So this is the first tip on handling these very challenging times of Sadi Sati and Saturn return. The first one is that we need to respect Saturn's sense of time. As you heard, a Sadi Sati is 7.5 years, and a Saturn return usually lasts 2.5 years. So these are long transits that are going to be tedious and they're going to be there for a long time. So the first tip is respect Saturn's sense of time and know that Saturn is watching during the whole time. You need to trust Saturn's timing, accepting that it's a slow progress and it's going to bring delays and it's part of the process of growth. Okay, so don't expect things to be quick, don't expect things to be fast, don't expect fast results. Everything slows down during these two periods. Okay, everything becomes slower, delayed, and more tedious. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't get what you want. It just means that it's going to take longer, it's going to be more tedious, and it's going to take its time. So, respect the sense of time. Take away any expectations of fast, fast results, and expect things to be slow. Number one, because it's a long-term vision. You need to plant seeds now and harvest them later. This is what Saturn wants you to do. So it's not an easy come, easy go. It's going to be a process of minimum, whatever transit we're doing with Saturn, 2.5 years if you're in your Saturn return, or 7.5 years if you're in your Sadi Sati. And of course, the energies of honoring pauses. Okay, so use these stuck periods for reflection and to find out what truly matters. That is what Saturn wants you to do. This is the reason why during these periods Saturn is putting the pressure and we are becoming more of a diamond during those times. So that's tip number one, respecting Saturn's time and know that Saturn is watching and don't expect any quick results on anything. Now, tip number two, simplify your life, guys. Okay, this is a very karmic, intense time. So the best thing you can do is to simplify your life. Declutter the space, release items from the past, release any commitments that are no longer serving you or that you have outgrown, or any relationships that are literally draining your energy. Okay, so this is a time to simplify your life, declutter. If you can have less responsibilities, definitely do it. If you can have less expectations on you, definitely do it. And this is a time to really be specific to what you really want to commit to and to be very specific on what you really want to keep in your life. Like release the burdens, that you don't necessarily have to be carrying. Simplify your life. Also, streamline your priorities. Focus on fewer essential responsibilities that nurture growth. And I will say, focus on the essential responsibilities of Saturn sign and Saturn house placement. So, where is it transiting? So if it's transiting in your eighth house, focus on the growth of the eighth house. If it's transiting through your fourth house, focus on the growth and responsibilities of the fourth house. So just streamline the priorities to the sign and the house placement of Saturn. If you don't know your house placement of your original Saturn or your moon sign for Sadi Sati, check out the description here below for a Vedic astrological calculator and you can find your placements. Also, find peace in simplicity. Simplicity brings clarity, guys. Less is truly more during Saturn's transits, okay? Just how they say, simple life, high thinking, okay? The less we have to attend to, the better, because things are slowing down. And so bringing simplicity to your life is definitely going to release any burdens, release any anxieties, release the restlessness that we can definitely feel during these times of intense karmic energies. Okay, Sadi Satis and Saturn returns are always really tough and intense. So that's one of the reasons why we want to simplify it. This is the moment where we can purge, where we no longer need to be carrying. So that's tip number 2. Now, for tip number 3, be honest with yourself. Okay, be very honest, but especially with yourself. It has to be very, very honest and authentic when we're dealing with Saturn. If we lie, if we hide, if we pretend, if we are just ignoring our own feelings and our own sense of how we really feel, Saturn is going to give us some very karmic lessons here. So the best thing is honesty. Even if it's going to make everybody uncomfortable, even if people are not going to like what they hear, Saturn is going to be very proud of you that you are taking the energies of honesty in your life. So see truly, see yourself without filters. Knowledge your strengths and your weaknesses. This is a humbling time. Every single time we have Saturn transiting through something challenging, like a Saturn return or a Sadi Sati, this is a humbling time. Okay? And it is extremely important that you make ethical choices. During this time, during Sadi Sati or Saturn return, if we end up doing something unethical, we get like 5 times more of the karma and the repercussion. So we need to be very good boys and very good girls when Saturn is testing us in Saturn returns and Sadi Sati. So we have to make very ethical choices. Choose integrity over convenience in your daily life. Okay? And be very transparent, baby. Communicate directly with honesty. Okay? Inwards and outwards. This is very, very, very important so that we don't end up in some karmic repercussions or karmic backlashes. We need to be very transparent, honest, see ourselves truly for who we are, how we're acting, and take the ethical route in our lives. So that is tip number 2. Now, for tip number 3, creating and sticking to a routine. This is going to be very, very beneficial for all of us. And this is what Saturn wants us to do. Saturn wants us to become very organized. Saturn wants us to become very mature, very grown up, and very, very an adult. Okay. So this is when we step into the routine. Okay. If you stick to a routine and you say, okay, I'm going to have this routine for the next 2 years and a half for my Saturn return, or have this routine for the next 7 years and a half, this is going to yield very, very good results because consistency in your schedule, anchor your days with regular wake, sleep, meal times, your to-do lists. Just keeping up like this will help you to stay on your steady progress and to not allow your mind to go too much into the future or too much into the past, but it keeps you present in the moment, taking step by step by step by step. Eventually, the 2 years and the 7 years and a half will be over, and if you stay to a schedule, a consistent schedule, you could have really built something incredible. Also, have daily check ins, reflect and progress on the setbacks of the day, Journal on a daily basis, journal in the morning, journal at night. Have something that where you can kind of keep up your little tiny steps forward towards the future. It is important that during Saturn transits we can count every little step forward. Okay, even if we progress 0.00001% towards our future, towards our goals, it counts. And the more we kind of check our progress, the more we can actually get lost in the present and in the energies of work instead of wondering why this or why that. Like we can actually see our progress and see that we are moving forward, even though it could feel delayed, even though it could feel very slow, even though it could feel like Saturn is slowing everything down. And also habit building, repetitive positive actions build new life foundations. So this is a wonderful time to get into good habit building. With these transits of Saturn, it can give you the ability for you to finally let go of that vice, let go of that bad habit, and to step into some new habits that could be very fantastic for you and your future and your ability to move forward in life. So that's tip number 3. Now for tip number 3, yes, I believe so. Uh, oh no, tip number 4. Now we're going to go into tip number 5. So, serving without expectation. This is also something that Saturn wants us to practice. Saturn wants us to practice empathy, practice responsibility towards others, practice taking care, practice being humble. And so, serving without expectations is exactly what Saturn wants us to learn. And this is an attitude of a very humble and mature person. So we want to serve, and when we say serving, means giving of yourself without having some expectation of something in return. You know, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, we do not have a right to the fruits of our labor. We only have a right to the labor. So, to the service, that's what we have the right for. So, serve detached from expectations, and you will see that Saturn will reward you. If you are just doing things because you're trying to get something in return, or from opportunistic mentality or exploitive mentality, Saturn is not going to yield good results like this. So, see others' needs, notice chances to offer kindness, big or small, even if it's just a smile. That could be a way to offer kindness towards others. Serve freely. Give time, skill, or presence with no strings attached, with not wanting something in return. This is a big lesson that Saturn can teach us during Saturn Return Sadi Sati. That if we have the attitude of, just being opportunistic, self centered, egotistical, and if we have a big ego, this is really going to humble us down. So serve with love, give of yourself freely. Don't ask for more in return. And you will see that after this transit is over, you will be rewarded. And release outcomes, detach from how acts are received or returned. Okay? So don't have expectations of the person should behave like this or like that because you offer, because you serve, because you gave, or that they should return the favor. No, baby. Be completely detached, give freely, and release the expectations and the attachment that we have to the fruits of our labor. And I'm saying this so that we don't fall into frustrations during Saturn return, because that's not how Saturn works. Saturn doesn't give you what you want if Saturn knows that you are being selfish, truly, that your intention is a selfish intention, that your intention is an opportunistic and exploitive intention. So we need to really be sincere from the heart so that Saturn can actually reward us. Okay. So that is the energies for this tip number 5. And now for tip number 6. Tip number 6, inner stillness and pranayama are going to be fantastic practices to have during Saturn return and Saturn Sadi Sati. So we need to practice this inner stillness. Saturn is the most slowest moving planet. And so when we go into inner stillness, we are connecting with that slowness, we can say, but we are sinking into the process of time. That we can't rush it, we can't force it, we just slip into the stillness. So practicing also pranayama. Pranayama is very important because it's all about the breathing technique. And Saturn is known to be a very vata planet. Vata means that it is composed of air and ether, cold air and ether, especially. And so during these times, pranayama is going to help to balance the karmic energies of Saturn. So practice pranayama daily. Daily breath work calms thoughts and soothes the nerves, and it is also going to make Saturn very, very happy. And you can do as simple as like changing of nostril pranayama, or if you would like to go into a deeper pranayama, however you would like. But pranayama is very, very effective to go against the negative energies of Saturn during these transits. Also, connect within. Sit in silence to listen to your inner self. Practice chanting mantras or practice meditation. Practice anything that helps you bring yourself back into the parasympathetic system. This could be something really beneficial during Saturn return and Sadi Sati. And of course, cultivate stillness, quiet mind, balance emotions, help preserve amid the chaos. So this is a time of chaos, guys. Okay, Saturn's transits are always chaotic in some way, somehow. People feel them. So people will never forget their Saturn returns, and people never forget their Sadi Satis. So it is during this time that we need to cultivate some stillness and quiet our mind to balance out our emotions, because we are going to be extremely triggered. Things are going to be tough. Things are going to be testing us. And so this is going to be chaotic. Sometimes it can turn into a very chaotic situation. So cultivating the stillness will help us to take control in some way, somehow within us. We can't take control outside of ourselves. We can't control Saturn either. So at least if we cultivate the stillness within, that is a way to protect ourselves. So this is tip number 6. Very, very important. And then for tip number 7, baby, embrace the long game. Okay, we are here for a while. All right, if you're in your Sadi Sati, we're here for a while, 7.5 years. If we are in Saturn return, still 2.5 years is quite some time. Okay, so we need to really see this as a bigger picture. Okay, focus on your journey, not just the results. That is one of the major lessons that Saturn is teaching us, that it is not about just the result and the success at the end that everybody wants. It is about the journey and how well you go through this journey cycle. Okay, also the growth process, change comes slowly, so yet each effort matters. So don't expect change instantaneously. Stay focused on your changing of habits, on your daily routines, and you will see the growth process. And of course, during this whole time, patience is a virtue, baby. Patience really pays off. Rewards unfold when you persevere with humility. That is one of the things that Saturn wants to teach us. So, this is the 7th tip. Embrace that it's going to be a long game. I would even say, have some plans for the 2 years or the 7 years, some vision boards. This can help you to embrace the fact that it is going to be a long journey. Okay, guys? So, what is the Saturn's gifts? Why should we do this? Well, Saturn is the one that gives us many, many, many gifts. And one of them is that number one, we can transcend, move forward with quiet inner grace. We become more adults. We become more mature. We also become integration, embodying lessons learned in attitude and actions. This all matures us, and it helps us to become the best version of ourselves. And also acknowledgement, recognize Saturn's role in a personal growth, become friends with Saturn instead of fighting him, and you will see that you will get so much rewards in your life, because Saturn is the only planet that can actually make things materialize in a material form. But you have to follow his rules. And if you follow the rules, you will manifest and materialize those things that you are seeking to create. Okay, so the key takeaways here that I would like for you guys to have in mind is that remember, Saturn's lessons are important and they're definitely bringing us lots and lots of love and understanding. Patience and simplicity and service build inner strength within us. Applying the practices, live one day at a time, staying true to the core of yourself, and embrace your journey, baby. Every challenge contains seeds of wisdom. Trust your path and just know that everyone in humanity has to go through these challenges. Okay, guys? So these are the takeaways and how to move forward with the Saturn return. I hope that you guys were able to get some good understanding on how to manage these really hard aspects. And of course, I just want to say thank you so much for being here once again for this video. I truly appreciate you guys, and I hope that it brought you some help and understanding on how to manage these very challenging transits. Alrighty, thank you guys so much. Thank you for the likes, thank you for the comments, and thank you for sharing this video with your loved ones that may be going through Sadi Sati or Saturn return. I truly appreciate all your engagement and love you guys so, so, so much. Sending everybody so much love and light, and I'll be seeing you guys on the next video. Hari Bol and Hari Krishna.